A local code proposal suggests that single-family homes with a habitable area of 1,600 square feet must have a minimum service of 200 amps. If the area exceeds 3,800 square feet, the minimum service size should be 400 amps. Let's explore the advantages and disadvantages of this proposal. Firstly, electrical safety is improved. This ensures adequate electrical service for larger homes, preventing overloading and potential electrical fires. Secondly, future-proofing is enhanced. It accommodates the increasing electrical needs of modern homes, including appliances, charging stations, and smart devices. Thirdly, it promotes compliance with national standards. It aligns with the National Electrical Code, NEC, which recommends these minimum service sizes. Fourthly, consistency is achieved. It provides a clear and consistent requirement for electrical contractors and homeowners. Fifthly, property value may increase. Larger homes with sufficient electrical service may be more attractive to potential buyers and command higher prices. However, there are potential drawbacks. Firstly, increased installation costs may occur. Requiring larger service sizes can increase the cost of electrical installation and upgrades. Secondly, oversized service for smaller homes may happen. Homes below 1,600 or 3,800 square feet may not need such a large service size, resulting in unnecessary expense. Thirdly, there's the potential for oversizing. If the service size is too large, it can lead to inefficiencies and higher energy bills. Fourthly, flexibility limitations may arise. The code proposal does not provide flexibility for homes with unique electrical needs or design considerations. Fifthly, it might lead to discrimination against smaller homes. Homes below 1,600 square feet may be disproportionately affected by the increased cost of electrical service. It is also important to take the following additional considerations into account. Local data should be examined. Consider local data on home energy usage and electrical load patterns to determine if these service sizes are appropriate for the community. Gradual implementation is suggested. Implementing the code proposal gradually could allow homeowners time to adjust and mitigate the financial impact. Incentives for energy efficiency could be offered. To offset the potential increased costs, incentives could be offered for homes that incorporate energy-efficient features or appliances. It is wise to make exceptions and variances. Provisions should be made for exceptions and variances to allow for homes with special circumstances or unique electrical needs. Let's delve into the advantages of the proposed electrical code in more detail. Electrical safety is paramount, and this code directly addresses it. By mandating a minimum service size of 200 amps for homes of 1,600 square feet and 400 amps for homes exceeding 3,800 square feet, the risk of overloading electrical circuits is significantly reduced. Overloading can lead to overheating of wires, which is a primary cause of electrical fires. This code ensures that homes have the capacity to handle the electrical demands placed upon them, reducing the likelihood of such incidents. Future-proofing is another key benefit. Modern homes are increasingly reliant on electricity. We have a growing number of appliances, electronic devices, and electric vehicle charging stations. Moreover, smart home technology is becoming more prevalent, further increasing electrical demand. By requiring larger service sizes, this code anticipates these future needs and ensures that homes are equipped to handle them without requiring costly and disruptive upgrades later on. The proposal's alignment with the National Electrical Code, NEC, is also a significant advantage. The NEC is a widely recognized and respected set of standards for electrical installations. Adhering to these standards promotes consistency and safety across the industry. It also provides a framework for electrical contractors and inspectors, ensuring that installations are performed correctly and safely. Consistency is further enhanced by the clear and consistent requirements outlined in the code. This eliminates ambiguity and guesswork for electrical contractors and homeowners. Everyone knows the minimum service size required for a given home size, simplifying the design and installation process and reducing the potential for errors. Finally, increased property value can be a positive outcome of this code. Homes with adequate electrical service are more attractive to potential buyers, especially those who anticipate high electrical demands. This can translate into higher sale prices and a more competitive real estate market. However, it's crucial to acknowledge the potential disadvantages. Increased installation costs are a major concern. Larger service sizes require more expensive equipment, such as larger service panels, heavier gauge wiring, and potentially larger transformers. This can significantly increase the costs of electrical installation, especially for new construction or major renovations. Oversized service for smaller homes is another valid point. A home of 1,600 square feet may not require a full 200 amp service if its electrical load is relatively low. Mandating a larger service size in such cases can result in unnecessary expense for the homeowner. The potential for oversizing can also lead to inefficiencies. An oversized service panel may result in a lower power factor, which can increase energy bills. Additionally, the unused capacity in the service panel can attract moisture and dust, potentially leading to corrosion and other problems. Flexibility limitations are another concern. Not all homes are created equal. Some homes may have unique electrical needs due to specialized equipment or design considerations. A rigid code that mandates specific service sizes may not be appropriate for these situations. The code could also be seen as discriminatory against smaller homes. Homeowners with smaller homes may be disproportionately affected by the increased costs of electrical service. This could make homeownership less affordable for lower-income individuals and families. To address these concerns, it's essential to consider several additional factors. Local data on home energy usage and electrical load patterns should be carefully analyzed. This will help determine if the proposed service sizes are truly appropriate for the community. A gradual implementation of the code proposal could help homeowners adjust to the changes and mitigate the financial impact. Incentives for energy efficiency could be offered to homeowners who incorporate energy-efficient features or appliances into their homes. This could help offset the increased costs of larger service sizes. Provisions should be made for exceptions and variances to allow for homes with special circumstances or unique electrical needs. To elaborate further on the potential for increased installation costs, consider the specific components that contribute to the higher price. The service panel itself, which houses the circuit breakers and distributes power throughout the home, needs to be larger to accommodate the increased amperage. A 200 amp or 400 amp panel is significantly more expensive than a 100 amp panel. The wiring from the utility transformer to the service panel must also be heavier gauge to handle the higher current. This translates to more copper or aluminum, which adds to the cost. In some cases, the existing utility transformer may need to be upgraded to support the increased load, which can be a significant expense. The issue of oversized service for smaller homes deserves further attention. While a 200 amp service may be appropriate for a modern home with numerous appliances and electronic devices, a smaller home with more basic electrical needs may not require that much capacity. A thorough electrical load calculation should be performed for each home to determine the actual service size required. This calculation takes into account the square footage of the home, the number and type of appliances, and other factors that contribute to electrical demand. The potential for oversizing can also have unintended consequences for the electrical grid. Oversized service panels can contribute to voltage fluctuations and other problems on the grid, which can affect the reliability of the electrical system. A properly sized service panel helps to maintain a stable voltage and prevent these issues. The flexibility limitations of the code are also worth exploring in more detail. Some homes may have alternative energy sources such as solar panels or wind turbines that can reduce their reliance on the grid. A rigid code that mandates specific service sizes may not take these factors into account. The potential for discrimination against smaller homes is a serious concern. Lower-income individuals and families are often more likely to live in smaller homes. Increased electrical installation costs could make homeownership even more difficult for these individuals and families. To mitigate these potential drawbacks, several strategies can be employed. Firstly, Local data on home energy usage and electrical load patterns should be carefully analyzed to determine the appropriate service sizes for the community. This data can be used to refine the code and ensure that it is tailored to the specific needs of the area. Secondly, a gradual implementation of the code proposal can help homeowners adjust to the changes and mitigate the financial impact. This could involve phasing in the new requirements over a period of several years. Thirdly, incentives for energy efficiency can be offered to homeowners who incorporate energy-efficient features or appliances into their homes. This could include rebates, tax credits, or low-interest loans. Fourthly, provision should be made for exceptions and variances to allow for homes with special circumstances or unique electrical needs. This could involve a review process that allows homeowners to demonstrate that a smaller service size is sufficient for their needs. It is also important to consider the impact of the code on the electrical contracting industry. The electrical contractors will need to be trained on the new requirements and equipped to handle the largest service sizes. This could involve additional training programs and the purchase of new equipment. The code should also be reviewed and updated periodically to ensure that it remains relevant and effective. Changes in technology, energy efficiency standards, and consumer behavior can all impact electrical demand. Finally, it is important to engage with the community and solicit feedback from homeowners, electrical contractors, and other stakeholders. This will help to ensure that the code is fair, practical, and effective. In conclusion, the proposed electrical code has the potential to improve electrical safety, future-proof homes, and promote consistency. However, it is important to address the potential drawbacks such as increased installation costs, oversized service for smaller homes, flexibility limitations, and discrimination against smaller homes. By carefully considering these factors and implementing appropriate mitigation strategies, the code can be a valuable tool for ensuring safe and reliable electrical service for all homes. The discussion surrounding the adoption of a local electrical code mandating minimum service sizes for single-family homes based on square footage necessitates a comprehensive understanding of the potential benefits and drawbacks. While the intention behind the proposal is to enhance electrical safety and accommodate the growing energy demands of modern households, a balanced perspective requires a critical evaluation of its economic and practical implications. One of the primary arguments in favor of the code is the enhancement of electrical safety. By requiring a minimum 200 amp service for homes of 1600 square feet and a 400 amp service for homes exceeding 3800 square feet, the code aims to prevent overloading of electrical circuits, a common cause of electrical fires. This is particularly relevant in larger homes with multiple appliances, electronic devices, and potentially electric vehicle charging stations, which collectively draw a significant amount of power. Moreover, the code promotes future-proofing. As technology advances and homes become increasingly reliant on electricity, the demand for power is likely to increase. By ensuring that homes have sufficient electrical capacity from the outset, the code reduces the need for costly and disruptive upgrades in the future. This is especially important in light of the growing popularity of electric vehicles and the increasing adoption of smart home technologies, both of which require substantial electrical capacity. Furthermore, the proposed code aligns with the recommendations of the National Electrical Code (NEC), a widely recognized and respected set of standards for electrical installations. Adherence to the NEC promotes consistency and safety across the industry, providing a framework for electrical contractors and inspectors to ensure that installations are performed correctly and safely. This also facilitates the adoption of best practices and ensures that electrical systems meet a minimum level of performance and safety. The code also introduces a level of consistency in electrical installations. By establishing clear and consistent requirements for service sizes based on square footage, the code eliminates ambiguity and guesswork for electrical contractors and homeowners. This simplifies the design and installation process, reducing the potential for errors and ensuring that all homes meet a minimum standard of electrical capacity. Finally, the code may contribute to increased property value. Homes with adequate electrical service are often more attractive to potential buyers, particularly those who anticipate high electrical demands. This can translate into higher sale prices and a more competitive real estate market, benefiting homeowners who invest in upgrading their electrical systems. However, the proposed code also presents several potential drawbacks that warrant careful consideration. One of the most significant concerns is the increased installation costs associated with larger service sizes. Larger service panels, heavier gauge wiring, and potentially larger transformers are required to handle the increased amperage, which can significantly increase the cost of electrical installation, especially for new construction or major renovations. This added cost may be a barrier to entry for some homeowners, particularly those with limited budgets. Another concern is the potential for oversizing, particularly for smaller homes. A home of 1,600 square feet with minimal electrical needs may not require a full 200 amp service. Mandating a larger service size in such cases can result in unnecessary expense for the homeowner without providing any tangible benefit. Furthermore, oversized service panels can lead to inefficiencies in the electrical system. An oversized panel may result in a lower power factor, increasing energy bills. The unused capacity can also attract moisture and dust, potentially leading to corrosion and other problems. The proposed code may also lack flexibility, failing to accommodate homes with unique electrical needs or design considerations. Some homes may have alternative energy sources, such as solar panels or wind turbines, which can reduce their reliance on the grid. A rigid code that mandates specific service sizes may not take these factors into account, potentially penalizing homeowners who invest in renewable energy technologies. Finally, the code may disproportionately affect smaller homes. Homeowners with smaller homes may face increased electrical service costs, making homeownership less affordable, especially for low-income individuals and families. This can exacerbate existing inequalities in the housing market and limit access to homeownership for vulnerable populations. To address these concerns, it is essential to consider several additional factors. Firstly, local data on home energy usage and electrical load patterns should be carefully analyzed to determine if the proposed service sizes are appropriate for the community. This data can inform the development of a more nuanced code that takes into account the specific needs of local residents. Secondly, a gradual implementation of the code can help homeowners adjust to the changes and mitigate the financial impact. This could involve phasing in the new requirements over a period of several years, allowing homeowners ample time to plan and budget for the necessary upgrades. Thirdly, incentives for energy efficiency can be offered to homeowners who incorporate energy-efficient features or appliances into their homes. This can help offset the increased cost of larger service sizes and encourage the adoption of sustainable energy practices. Fourthly, provisions for exceptions and variances can be included to allow for homes with special circumstances or unique electrical needs. This can ensure that the code is flexible enough to accommodate a wide range of housing types and energy consumption patterns. The potential impact of the code on the electrical contracting industry should also be considered. Electrical contractors will need to be trained on the new requirements and equipped to handle the larger service sizes. This may require additional training programs and investment in new equipment, which could increase the cost of electrical services. The code should be regularly reviewed and updated to ensure that it remains relevant and effective. Changes in technology, energy efficiency standards, and consumer behavior can all impact electrical demand, necessitating periodic adjustments to the code's requirements. Finally, it is important to engage with the community and solicit feedback from homeowners, electrical contractors, and other stakeholders. This can ensure that the code is fair, practical, and effective, reflecting the needs and concerns of the people it is intended to serve. In conclusion, while the proposed electrical code offers potential benefits in terms of electrical safety, future-proofing, and consistency, it also presents several drawbacks that must be carefully considered. By analyzing local data, implementing a gradual implementation plan, providing incentives for energy efficiency, and including provisions for exceptions and variances, it is possible to mitigate these drawbacks and create a code that is both effective and equitable.